Great job.
I know Sebastian said that he wears Jardine and Bastien the most. I know you only wear what you test, but
my favorite, I mean, apart from the fact that the latest one is always the one you love most, but if I were to stop making fragrances and have to take one or two away with me, it would be Eau d'Italie, which is my... Eau d'Italie was created around my childhood memories. So for me, it is the smell of Positano and the memories I have of growing up there in summer. And unsurprisingly, since they have, there is a vicinity, do you say that in English? Proximity between Cien-l'Hiver and Eau d'Italie. I don't know if they're two completely different fragrances, but they are cousins in a creative sense. In a
Italy and
Cien-l'Hiver, also his favorite. And
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, those are the ones. If I were to have to, start making, that's the ones I'd take with me for the moment.
Yeah, I see it, but my favorite is
Bon de Doge, yes.
It's spicy.
It's very warm. It's exotic, and at the same time, it's reassuring, and it has.
It's grounded. The woody notes.
It has an undertone of. Let me think of the word of sexiness somehow, without being too in your face, which I like.
What was the thought process behind that one?
What was the thought process? It was each of our fragrances are related to either a place in Italy or a memory or something that concerns either Sebastian or myself or both of us. And for Venice, this one was Venice, obviously. Bon de Doge, unpronounceable in English and in any other language, means nothing to anybody. Actually means the balm of the Doge. The Doge was the Prince of Venice. When Venice was the center of the spice trade, Venice was extremely important. It was where all the spices from the Orient came in to the whole of Europe, and what at the time was the Western world. America didn't exist yet. So that was what we wanted to recreate.
Capture the spices.
Exactly. Venice at the height of its power.
That's great. Yeah, that's my.
And the prince was the Prince of Venice was called Doge, D-O-G-E, and he was a prince among princes. They were all equal, and normally he came from one of the major merchant families. This is in Rome. All of our production is just outside Milan.
Okay.
We do everything.
Yeah.
We have a maid who comes in, a cleaning lady who kindly comes in twice a week, and that's the only thing we don't do. Everything else is done by us. So we are very busy. It's
And I'm assuming you're constantly. I shouldn't say that. You're constantly looking for the next fragrance, but you guys are also much more. I know you and I have spoken about it, and Sebastian, I asked him because it's interesting to hear different people's opinions about the whole discontinuation. It's not in your molds. It's not what you're looking to do. You always want to keep it in the line, no matter what you create. You're not about sales figures, and you're about what you create. Are you looking to do a slow release of fragrances?
Sorry, I didn't get that question.
Like, are you looking to do a slow release? Or was this just a whim? Like, hey, let's. You know what I'm trying to say? Are the future fragrances?
Or if we're going to continue making?
No, that's what I'm saying. The fact that you don't, and that's not in the molds, then there's always going to be another one added to the collection.
Yes.
In adding them, do you have 3 or 4 more already in the works, or no? It's just kind of something that slowly moves and.
Creating a fragrance normally takes, if you're very, very, very lucky, a year. And I'm not talking about bottles or packaging. I'm just talking about the fragrance. Normally, otherwise.
A year of testing and reworking.
Normally, for us, it's about a year and a half.
That's great.
So yes, we are working on the next fragrances, but we haven't yet decided if any of these.
That's what I mean.
No,
so there's always something working.
That's not quite true. I already know that there is something that there probably will come out next year.
Okay.
Which one of the ones we've been working on for the last
couple of years?
No, yearish.
Yeah, okay.
We haven't decided yet. When we get back, it's on the top of our agenda. It's just the next one. But we're constantly developing.
That's it. Yeah.
The development takes time. I mean, you get samples, you smell them, don't like this one. the first body line, the original, we created for the hotel.
Right.
With the original fragrance, and it's very expensive to make. At the moment, we're more interested, I think, in creating new fragrances,
Rather than
possibly once
worrying
a
about
year,
doing
more or
it.
less, if we can manage that.
That was part of the question I was asking before was, are you looking for a slow release where you have once a year, once every couple of years, or?
More or less once a year, but that also depends on whether, I mean, like, it could happen that we don't have a fragrance because we don't get to anywhere we like.
I think it makes you special when you don't have one. It keeps everyone kind of, when's the next one coming? When's the next, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially, like, you guys have 10 now.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I kind of prefaced it with the whole idea of discontinuation. If you don't discontinue, then it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
So how do you keep it managed, in a sense? You know what I mean?
Well, we try and produce, try and have small productions so that in any case, I mean, obviously some sell faster and better than others. Some are more complicated, some are more easy.
What is the top three?
Sorry?
The top three.
The top three is definitely Eau d'Italie, Un Bateau pour Capri, which we launched last year. Un Bateau pour Capri.
Yeah, mhm.
Yeah. Well, up to now
That's
it
the one
was-
you liked that you said was a nice, feminine one that
It's
has
a beautiful feminine.
I wrote it
peony.
down for
Yeah.
feminine.
Yeah.
For women.
And up to now it was Jardin du Poète, I'd say, but I think this one's going to be a good.
This is going to go up there.
It's in this. This is in that same.
Yeah,
family,
but
I
Jardin
think.
du Poète is very green, and this one is far more of a it's a.
I want to try
citrusy.
Jardin again on my skin because that
Yeah.
one I feel like is going to evolve so much.
Jardin has a beautiful. It has two twists to it. One is the tomato leaf.
Okay. Yes.
And at a certain point,
Vetiver too, right?
yes, but that is more easily detectable
Yeah.
if you want. There's a little drop is not the right word, but you understand me, of rose. Because when we created it, we didn't want it to be too much of a male fragrance. And that kind of green esperidato, citrusy,
Okay.
yeah, is very much male.
Dominant.
A man's kind of fragrance. And we wanted it to be something women can wear too. So in fact, hidden inside there's a touch of rose.
Interesting. Interesting.
I'm gonna go smell it again. I love smelling it after the description. It gives you
Right.
makes it.
Fragrance is such an individual gesture. It's such a choice, at least for me. And of course, all we do is not liked by everybody, but we don't intend it to. Sometimes it will resonate in people, and like Cien Hiver, which is not an easy fragrance, but it resonates in people, and they absolutely love it. For me, that's enough.
And Pastor Rose.
I need to be able to
I
pay
love
my
Pastor
bills.
Rose.
I need to be able to pay my bills, of course, but I mean, you know, that's the way we are, and that's the way we work.
It's nice
I
to
love
hear.
Peston Rose.
Yes.
Do you know, Peston Rose was created by Bertrand, and we were working on this project, and we wanted a contemporary rose that didn't smell like our aunties.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I had just come back from a trip in Ethiopia with a friend of mine. And in Ethiopia, when you, I don't know if you've ever been, but you drive around, beautiful country, and in a certain area of the highlands, you come across these kids in the middle of nowhere who are standing by the side of the road selling these balls of, I mean, kind of two balls attached to a string, and you think, what's that? And that's what we thought, so we got out of the car and we, and it was pure frankincense.
Wow.
Pure frankincense. And it was kind of coalesced into a sort of a little ball of
Okay.
So we bought it, we took it home, and I went to Sebastian and I said, look at that ball, this is fantastic. And when we were working on Peston Rose, we couldn't find exactly because it is a Turkish rose, and we wanted to kind of, let me see if I can find the word. Anybody speak Italian here? Contrapporre. Not balance out.
Find the contrast.
Exactly. I mean, like two things that kind of go against each other.
Like
and then,
oil and
no,
water. prototype, or you're
it's
saying?
more of a concept. I'll think of the word in a second. Anyway, we wanted to counterbalance the rose with something, and the idea was myrrh, frankincense.
Okay.
He couldn't find the right note, so I called Bertrand and I said, "Listen, I'm going to do something ridiculous, but I'm going to send you a piece of this
This ball that I got
myrrh that I got in
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, and that's what he smelled.
Awesome.
That's
That's a
how it
great
went.
story.
That is so cool.
I still have we use it, we burn it at home.
That's awesome. I love that. Love that story.
That's awesome.
It felt like a sort of something very childish to do. Like, you know, I want this.
Yeah.
But look, it worked. It paid off.
Yeah, you knew what it was missing. You knew what is the yin to the yang.
I didn't know. I didn't really know. You don't really ever know. You kind of guess.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're right, and sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes you're developing a fragrance, and you take your steps along the road you think you're supposed to take, and sometimes you end up absolutely nowhere, and there's a wall at the end of it, and you have to turn back and start right at the beginning or halfway through. But that's the way in many things, you know. That's why it takes so long.
And at least in the world of fragrance, it's got to be fun to do.
Oh yeah.
It's not like
I
other
love
things.
it. I love it. Sometimes I want to cry, but I love it.
Yeah.